We welcome you back to 5 Talk Street. I'm Scott Murray. Unfortunately, North Texas is certainly no stranger to disaster. We have recently seen devastating tornadoes rip through our area, and for that matter, the state of Oklahoma. And the official first day of hurricane season is coming up, June 1st. If you're like me, you want to know all you can to do and help wherever you can. So my good friend, Anita Foster, Regional Chief Communications Officer for the American Red Cross, and Dan Halyburton, there's a familiar name from radio days past, a DFW Red Cross volunteer who has received national volunteer training. They are joining me right now. Welcome,
Thank
Anita.
You
good
so
to see you.
much.
Dan, good to see you as my friend. I like your outfit.
Thanks. It's a good look, right?
Yeah, it's a good look. Well, how are you?
Well,
it's been a busy
good.
time the last couple of months here in North
really
Texas, hasn't it?
I think, even myself, as seasoned as I am as a disaster worker, to have been in our shelter on April the 3rd and watching on television as 18-wheelers were flying through the sky.
Had you ever seen anything like that before?
Nothing in all of my years, not something so vivid.
And it's right here in our backyard, huh?
And it was in our backyard. So that was a day that really just started off like a typical normal day. We got up that morning, we thought maybe there would be some hail, maybe some high wind. I mean, isolated tornadoes are in our forecast every day, so we weren't really anticipating the events that played out. But that's why the Red Cross is here, because we can't anticipate how the day's going to end when we start. We have to be ready all the time. And with the hurricane season approaching, as you mentioned, one of the things that we're getting ready for, even while the sky is blue outside, is this year's hurricane season and the event that people may need to evacuate and come up to North Texas.
It's not here today, but you know it's coming.
It's definitely coming. There's always going to be another disaster. We know that. So we focus so much of our time, especially when, the sky is blue. That's when we're out recruiting volunteers. We're training. We're talking to people about how to best be prepared. People made some good decisions on April the 3rd, and that was really comforting to see. They stayed in touch with weather reports. They knew where to go in their homes. They had supplies, or they learned a great lesson about how to prepare for the next time.
I'll tell you something, and this before I talk to Dan about volunteerism and what have you, my mother, who does not live in the state of Texas, called me to see if everything was all right, how the kids, how's the family, She said, I don't know who it is down there, and she mentioned specifically the Red Cross and said, somebody prepares you people there very, very, very well. That nobody was killed is incredible.
It was amazing.
So
and
hats off to you for...
and we take some credit for that, but I think as a community, we all deserve credit.
Well, we're all prepared because of people like the American Red Cross.
Yeah, we make it a big focus to ensure that people are safe when so many things we can't anticipate. So many things you don't see coming. We respond every single day on average in the Metroplex 5 times to home fires. Nobody gets up in the morning and thinks my house is going to be destroyed before I return home from work.
And you don't think of the Red Cross as doing that. You think of devastation. And
big
things
ones,
like, exactly right.
And we get that, but we're there for every family, whether it's 1 or a million. So we just try to do everything we can to harness the power of our volunteers and our community together and say, you know what, we're in it when it's a beautiful day outside together, and we're in it when it's a bad day outside together too.
And how about you, Dan, after all your years in radio and what have you, to be involved with the American Red Cross, the great, incredible legacy that this organization has had for how many decades? I mean, on and on. And tell us about just your involvement and how I'm sure proud you are to be a part of such a legacy.
I truly am.
Yeah.
And, when you've been in the media business, you know the Red Cross, you know the good work they do. I grew up in Miami, Florida, so I talk about hurricanes. I've lived through a number of those. Huh? And I kind of, like a lot of people, had some time in my life. I was working, I'm doing consulting, but I got a little more open schedule. And I really felt like something was missing and that I needed to be engaged in something. And I knew about the Red Cross, and Anita and I connected. Actually, another part of the Red Cross I was talking to them and said, oh, no, you're going to come work for me. But what was amazing about it is, first of all, as a volunteer, that they are so appreciative of any time you can give. Anytime. And I think a lot of people feel guilty, like, oh, I don't have enough, or I can only do so much. Don't worry about that. There's plenty to do. And the other great thing about Red Cross is the amount of training that goes on. You don't go out into something, especially something like a disaster, without training. You know what you're going to do. And a team of people that don't even know each other can come into this town or another town and stand up an entire disaster operation in a matter of hours. And it's because they get great training.
And the fact that over 90% nationally, and you said close to 96, 97% right here in North Texas, are volunteers.
Exactly.
Of your entire staff are volunteers. We need you, folks. We need you, right?
Most definitely. We actually have some rallies coming up on June 2nd.
Well, tell us about that.
It's an opportunity for folks that want to get involved with the Red Cross. You just haven't had that training Dan mentioned. Come get the training. We have 2 sessions at UTA on June the 2nd at 10 a.m. and at 2 p.m. where you can come in, take that first step to become a Red Cross disaster volunteer. We'll help you from there get into your career path. But this is the place to start. We always say the best time to become friends with the American Red Cross is when it's really nice weather. Right. So come join us on a fair weather day because we're
cool and collected right now because it's not always going to be that way.
When something tragic happens, we have to stand up. We have to do it immediately. We have to know how the systems work before we get to the debris field. That's what training does, and that's what volunteers bring to us. So join us.
And that's what the American Red Cross continues to do every single day.
That's
Anita,
right.
Thank you.
My
Scott,
pleasure.
a pleasure.
It's great to see you, Dan. Thanks so much.
Keep
up the good look.
Yeah, thank you.
And I tell you what, our volunteer extraordinaire right here, right?
No question.
In his red and black.
Invaluable to me,
Right.
I'll tell you.
Love it. Hey, stay with us. We're back with more right after this.